Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah Lipkowitz. I'm a real estate agent based in Montgomery County, Maryland. I specialize in homes and farms in Maryland and Virginia. And today I want to talk about something a little different. I want to talk about the questions I get asked about being a real estate agent beyond how's the market. One of the most frequently asked questions I get has to be, how are the hours? What are your hours? Do you have hours? Are you working only the weekends, mostly the weekends? And I think the answer to that is highly variable, which obviously is not for everyone. For me, I like that because while there are times when I can set my own hours, sometimes you have to do things based on when clients are available and based on when properties are available. And that can be tricky to kind of drop things to run out the door and go show a property. But for the most part, I think, as long as you're setting those expectations that, hey, I'm not taking phone calls before 8 or 9 in the morning. I am not taking phone calls after about 8 p.m. unless we have something specifically scheduled. Sometimes I have people calling me from a different part of the country, and so it's a little bit tricky. But for the most part, I think it really depends on the agent and their clients. A lot of my clients actually like to go look at stuff during the week, and I do have clients who are pretty much exclusively available on the weekends. So I do at the end of the day get to keep a good amount of time to myself on the weekends. I try to at least have a half day to myself on the weekends because most of my friends and family work 9-to-5 jobs, which is not what I do. People also love to ask how much real estate agents make because I think there's this misconception that real estate agents all make a ton of money, which is definitely not the case. I think the median in 2020 was about $51,000 a year, and there are people who make a lot more than that, and there are definitely people who make much less than that. And I think the statistics are a little bit difficult too because a lot of people are licensed, but they are part-time. They're not necessarily doing real estate as a full-time job, but still, only about the top 10% make over $112,000 a year, and there are 1.46 million agents in the country. So, that's a lot of people who are not making over $100,000. How long does it take to start making money in real estate? Unfortunately, the answer is it depends. It depends on where you are, which brokerage you're with, how they're supporting you. It depends. Sometimes some of the people I've seen who have really done well their first year are people who already have a book of business or specific sphere of influence that enables them to get a jump start in their real estate career. I have seen people who their first year, they knock it out of the park and they live happily ever after making 6 figures, but I don't think that's the reality for most people. It wasn't the reality for me. I feel like it took me 2.5 years to really feel like I had it. And in that time, it was a lot of experimentation with different methods of lead generation and just trying to figure out what fits me and my personality, how I should run my business. And at the start, I was with a brokerage that was very much in the camp, well, anybody can absolutely kill it their first year in this business and make 6 figures if they follow these 5 steps. But I don't think that's realistic. They were willing to support my methods of lead generation, which was social media, video, working with my sphere of influence in the equestrian world because I wanted to focus on farm clients. And in theory, they supported it, but they were also like, okay, go knock on some doors, which to my credit, I did try. I tried cold calling and I tried knocking on doors. I hated it. I felt like it was not for me. And there are people who absolutely do well doing those things. But it wasn't the right approach for me, and I knew that, and I felt that, and I'm just not a salesy person, which is totally okay. You don't actually have to be a super salesy person to be in real estate. I can be incredibly pushy on behalf of my clients, but a lot of the reason my clients like me, and they have told me this, is that I'm not super salesy. I'm not giving them a sales pitch every time I talk to them. Obviously, if I'm at a listing appointment, that's a pitch. People are expecting that. I have a kind of presentation I go through, but for the most part, when I'm working with my clients, I'm not pushy. I'm not salesy. And so some of those lead generation tactics just didn't work for me. And that's okay. That didn't fit my personality. And I kept pushing with what I thought fit and what I liked doing, and it paid off. But it took some time. It took time for me to build a book of business. It took time for me to build that referral business. And I switched brokerages in that time to, a brokerage that supported the vision that I had and the the focus that I wanted to have. And that really paid off. That was probably one of the critical decisions for me, and that's really when my career started to take off. But I don't think that most people jump into this industry and make six figures. I don't think most people in this industry ever make six figures, to be honest with you. The statistics are that 87% of agents don't make it 5 years. And that's because the reality is this business is hard. You can jump in full-time your first year and make next to nothing. But I do find this industry incredibly gratifying. I like that there is no ceiling on my income, and I probably scared you all a little bit there, but I think it is really, really important to go into this industry with your eyes wide open, because it's tough and it's really difficult to get started, especially. And if you have mortgage payments, car payments, children, and you really need that income, it's important to know that you may need to work 2 jobs for a while, or you may need to have a good amount of money saved up before you make the switch. What does it take to get licensed? It depends. I'm really killing it with these answers, but yeah, it depends. It depends on the state you're in. There are federal regulations in real estate, and then there are also state-specific regulations for real estate. So everybody who's licensed in the U.S. has to take the national portion of the test, but every state also has a state portion that is specific to whatever state laws they've got. And then before the testing, you have to obviously take a course for, I think it was 60 hours in Maryland. It may depend on which state you're in, but you take the course, you pass the course, and then you are eligible to take your exam. You pass the exam, you join a brokerage and get licensed. I think a better question is actually, what does it cost to maintain your license? Because you have a license renewal every 2 years, and renewing your license isn't that expensive, but when you renew your license, you have to have taken your continuing education, and that costs more money than renewing your license costs. And then you also have your annual association dues. If you are in an area where you are using electronic lock boxes, which I am, and I prefer them, I think they're safer, you have a subscription for your lock boxes. You also have, I think the big one is actually your MLS subscription. That's probably the most expensive thing annually. That's a couple $100s. So, and then you may have brokerage fees. Some brokerages charge you money to be licensed through them. Not every brokerage does that, but some do. And so it can be a couple $100 to $1,000, $2,000, your first year or two in the business to keep and maintain your license and your subscriptions that you need, because you have to have the MLS. That's how we operate. That's how we search for properties. That's how we list properties. It's something you've got to have, and unfortunately, those things are not free. How do you pick a brokerage? So I wish that I had interviewed with more brokerages before I started, because I think it's very easy when you take your test to get super excited about getting your license. You don't get that license in your hand until you are with a brokerage. And I interviewed with 2. The first was a hard no. I just felt like culturally it was not a good fit. The person might have been the person I talked to, but she was very, very negative, and that was not for me. The second brokerage I talked to was the one I ended up joining. They were very, very positive. Everybody there was lovely. But culturally, it was just not the right fit for me either, and I figured that out after about 2 years, and I switched. And I switched to a brokerage that not only supported the way I wanted to do business, but was excited about it. And they offered a lot of additional support to help me reach those goals. And that's when I feel like my business really took off. And I really got the mentorship that I had been wanting and looking for at that first brokerage, and I just wasn't getting. And there were people who were super successful in that model. So it really is very individual. And I think much like how you generate business, the brokerage you pick is a very personal decision based on your personality type and what you need to succeed. So I know a lot of brokerages out there will offer, training courses, or some of them will offer to let you keep 100% of your commission, and then you just pay an office fee. But I think you need to base your decision on more than just commission and more than, what training they have. I think you need to make sure that you are joining a brokerage that fits your needs in terms of how you want to do business, in terms of how you see yourself generating business. Thank you for watching. I really hope you found this video helpful. If you are thinking about getting licensed, I sincerely wish you the very best of luck, and I hope that you see all the success that you are aiming for. And if you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe. Again, my name is Sarah Lipkowitz. I'm a real estate agent based in Montgomery County, Maryland. I specialize in residential and equestrian properties.